I'd really like to welcome you to EMF Expert Certification Training Introduction. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about our introduction webinar that you can attend live online, or you can view our file on our website. This is just an introduction to let you know what you'll be hearing about when you attend the webinar or watch the video. I'm Chris Young, and I'm the owner of EMF Experts, and I'll be moderating the session today. We have a lot of topics we're going to be talking about in our webinar. Mostly, they answer the questions who, what, where, when, and why. So we're going to talk about who we are, how does the training work, where will the training take you, why would you do this in the first place, when can you expect to be started, and what's an EMF business really like. At the end of the program, in our webinar, we offer everybody who attends a special gift, which we'll talk about at the end of this little presentation today. So the first topic we look at is, where will this training take you? And we talk about how the business of EMF consulting is just at the very beginnings of the business, and how the competition is limited and that the cost of entry is very low and the growth rate in the business is very fast. So we give some examples of how that is proven related to our own business and businesses of others. Then we're going to talk a little bit about what sort of people buy the services from EMF consultants. In this slide, we'll talk about those people who buy services from individuals trying to protect their children from the radiation that impacts children the most, from people who are interested in arguing the case that cell phones are dangerous just like cigarettes were dangerous, or the people who are interested in seeing where the business is going to go with the new protocols that are available for communication for all of the things in your environment that are going to be a part of the Internet of Things. Or personal safety, where you can learn about how to protect yourself in your sleeping space. In fact, we have actually prepared a book which will describe to you how to protect yourself in your sleeping environment. And this is part of the training course that you would receive if you took the entire training. Then we'll talk about why this is a good career move for you. And we'll try to confirm for you what you're thinking. And if it seems like we're reading your mind about what questions to ask, it's simply those are the same questions that I ask when I take training of this kind. We'll talk about your relationship with your customers and how taking this training can help you develop your business as an EMF consultant and pave the road for you, so you have the least amount of difficulty in obtaining the information you need to represent yourself well with your customers. We'll talk about how the industry, the telecommunications industry, has promoted the rapid growth of EMF in our environment and has covered the planet with EMF, which is not natural and very damaging to your health. You'll be able to explain why this has happened to your customers and how you can help them avoid the problems associated with EMF in the environment. And then we'll talk about who we are and why you would want to train with us. And we'll explain my background as an electrical engineer with 40 years of experience in consulting, and all of the reference materials that I have available that aren't available to everybody, that you can benefit from as a result of our offering this course to you. We'll talk about how our qualifications are recognized in the community and how we relate to the regulation of businesses and what are the standards that are used in our industry and which standards are we recommending for our consultants to follow. At some point you're going to want to know what the business can do for you income-wise. So we're going to talk about what your expected income levels could be if you became an EMF consultant. Basically, we're going to tell you it's up to you to decide what it is you want to do, how much you want to charge, and how much you want to work. But if a person worked half-time in a normal EMF consulting business, working with people and families and children, you could expect to earn potentially $100,000 a year working half-time, which is really pretty remarkable. But because this business is a new entry, we're entering into a new business model here of providing protection from a consequence of all of the technology that people are using. And there aren't a lot of people out here doing this kind of consulting. So it's a wide open market, and the charges that you can make for doing this work are pretty substantial. And they range typically from $100 to $250 an hour, depending on your local community. In New York, it's probably closer to the $250, maybe even more. But in smaller communities around the country, it might be closer to $100 an hour because the pay scale in those communities is much lower. We'll talk about what it's going to take to start up the business and what kinds of things you can do as a part of this business. Being a consultant to individual people, being a consultant to industry, being a consultant to other consultants like architects or engineers who are designing buildings. You'll be able to relate to them and let them know what they need to know about their project to help keep their customers happy and safe from EMF. Then we'll explain a little bit about what life is really like as an EMF consultant. We'll talk about the licensing requirements, the regulations that you have to comply with, and what it's really like to be a consultant. We talk about how much time you spend on the phone with various kinds of customers, what you do with the rest of your time, like go on a vacation or take a cruise or take a swim in the pool in the afternoon. You're your own boss in this business, and we explain how that all works for you. So the life of an EMF consultant can be whatever you make it. Some people spend all of their time working and don't ever take any time off, and they love the business so much and they feel like they're helping people so much that for them that is really their recreation, helping people and getting paid for it at the same time. Now we'll talk a little bit about how the training actually works. And this presentation here is a little bit of a demonstration of the kind of training that we do in our online certification course, which is described in the webinar in a little bit more detail, and also in our material that you can download from the internet. Actually, many of you probably have already downloaded that material describing our course when you asked for it and provided us with the information about what kind of training would you like. The webinar describes all of the training programs that we have and the services that we provide to our students in various styles. We talk about our 4 training program types, which are the EMF certification online course, the seminars that we give at local areas, local places in certain areas around the country. We talk about our mentorship program where we have a one-on-one training and I take on a few students one at a time and customize the classwork to match their specific requirements. Then on the fourth one is our self-paced training online. It's not a scheduled webinar, it's sort of a remote university type class talking about EMF, where you can take the training at your own pace and at your own time, and not have to attend regular meetings and regular webinar sessions or attend a seminar. That fourth program is intended to be for individuals who aren't ready yet to go into the certification and aren't completely interested in doing the certification training for business purposes, but it gives you a broad description of EMF, what it, how it was created, why it's where it is, how to protect from it, how to measure it, and how to protect yourself and your family from the bad effects of EMF. In our webinar, we talk about each of the class styles in more detail, so you can get a feeling for which one is right for you. These slides represent the training for each of these particular types of training. In the end, we do a small graduation ceremony for the online certification course, the webinar, the seminar, and the one-on-one mentor training, where individuals are given their certificates and diplomas and suitable for framing, which looks something like this. And we issue our ID cards for those individuals who successfully pass the program. And on the back of the card, you'll find the information about having taken the class and having achieved graduation level and success rate in the class. This is a depiction of our seminar type courses, which last for 3 days, and they're given at a venue in a local community. We typically do that here in Tucson to offer the opportunity for people to come to Tucson and experience the Arizona life, as well as gain from the training that they receive here. We do this in conference centers at multiple locations. The specialized training that we offer in the Self-Paced course is intended for people who really want to know about EMF, but either aren't able to take the full certification training program at this time, or their schedule doesn't allow for it, or they're really not interested in obtaining certification. But it gives them the opportunity to learn what they need to know to protect themselves individually, not necessarily all the information that they would use to talk with customers or how to deal with creating a business of EMF consulting. The specialist training in the Self-Paced program would provide you with information to deal with personal issues like electrosensitivity or simple problems of small health issues that are caused by EMF. It would give you enough information to be able to protect yourself, potentially with the help of a consultant to identify where the problems might be if you don't have your own metering equipment. It establishes the key concepts of EMF and provides you with a background that you can use to help yourself and your family be protected. Gives you an opportunity to understand how all of this works and what's real and what's not in industry, and avoid the problems of buying potential solutions from people who are interested in getting your money rather than providing you with a real solution. It tells you about what are accurate kinds of meter readings and what are the numbers that you really should be paying attention to, and being able to discern the difference between somebody who's just talking off the top of their head and a professional who really knows what's going on. We try to keep our presentations pretty light. This can be a pretty weighty topic at times, so we throw in a little humor along the way. This is just a demonstration of a cartoon image that we use in some of our classwork to lighten the mood a little bit, because the EMF is so ubiquitous and so intense in many locations. It's often seems like a losing battle to try to cope with it. But there are ways to deal with it, and we talk about that in our class. In our presentations on the webinar, we provide different kinds of training tools to help instruct the students in the various aspects of EMF. And this is a display of an example of a video that we use. I'll get it started here so you can see. This is a clip taken from Take Back Your Power, which is a major movie presented a few years ago dealing with the truth about the EMF from cell phones and smart meters in particular. And this particular clip comes from the smart meter end of things. So they're talking here about the effects on various people's blood as they are exposed to the EMF from smart meters. And this is a very graphic demonstration of how the EMF affects humans in a way that the current regulations do not address. And that's why we're really in business, is to help people understand that the regulations that the cell phone companies and internet companies are working under are not effective in protecting us from the harmful effects of EMF. This is another graphic that we use in our presentation material. It's kind of a fun little graph, but it does have the ability to transfer a great deal of information. This is basically a graph of the entire EMF pollution that has been created over the last 30 or 40 years that we are now experiencing in our environment. It shows where it was before it all started and how it got to where it is now, what the levels are, how they relate to the natural radiation that's available, and how it relates to the regulations that are in place. And it talks about all of the different frequencies that are involved in EMF. And it very graphically shows the difference between the background radiation and the levels of radiation that we are experiencing in our environment. And it's millions and millions of times stronger than the background radiation in most cases. So this is a very powerful tool that our consultants that we train can actually use to help their customers understand what the EMF environment is that they're living in now compared to what it used to be before all of this technology came about. And in the end, we describe to you how you can get started with our program by registering for our class. Not just the webinar to learn about the class, but actually registering for our training program. It's all included on our website in our class calendar, and it makes it very easy to go ahead and sign up for that. We offer classes. We offer classes 4 times a year for our 6-week course, and often we put in a course, 12-week course for those who can't attend twice a week, so that they also have the opportunity for training. And the self-guided material is available as you need it, so it's not scheduled on our calendar. You can just buy that and attend at your own pace. Seminars are listed on our calendar when they're available at a particular location, and we don't have a regular schedule for giving those because we depend on people coming to us and asking for those seminars, and when we get a quorum, somewhere 5 to 10 or up to 25 people in a given location or in a given time will present a seminar that people can come and learn all of what they would learn in the online course that takes 6 to 12 weeks. They would learn that in 3 days in a seminar environment in a local area. Following the completion of attending our webinar of our introduction to training, you would receive a gift certificate worth $500 toward the training cost of the actual coursework. And that doesn't apply to the self-guided course, but each of the 3 methods of learning, either the 6-week or 12-week webinar, online classwork, the seminar for 3 days at a given location, or the mentor training where we're one-on-one with a mentor, the $500 discount would apply to each of those for a short period after they attend the webinar. The self-guided program has discounts available, and those are described in the material that you either have downloaded or should download from our website, describing the costs of each of these programs. And by the way, that material also describes how you can obtain a free attendance at any one of these courses, except for the mentor training. And that is a scholarship kind of program that we offer each time we hold one of our classes, so that somebody has the opportunity to attend who may not otherwise be able to for financial reasons. They have the time available, but they cannot accommodate the financial cost of it. A seminar or a scholarship may be the solution for them, and our material describes how those scholarships can be obtained through a lottery process. I'm going to talk a little bit while our summary slide is showing here about some of the other things that we do in our classwork that aren't typically represented in the webinar presentation. This is a book which we send to each of our students for them to accumulate the material that they learn during the coursework. So there's space inside here, and we do send the written material following each class so that you can accumulate all this material in your own binder at your own pace and have it available for use with your customers. Here's an example of a floor plan for a kitchen that we use as one of the examples in our training program, where the students are asked to actually measure their own kitchen in terms of the EMF and provide a diagram showing where the appliances are in the kitchen and what the levels of EMF are, and and describing a safe distance for people to be from each of these different devices, such as a microwave or your regular oven or your electric range or your refrigerator. All of those things have certain distances that you should be away from them as you use them. And this is one of the exercises that our students go through. Another piece of information that is useful, especially for people who are not from the United States, there are diagrams like this for each country that regulates EMF within their boundaries. This happens to be for the United States. It shows all of the frequencies on the spectrum that are regulated by the Federal Communication Commission, and what the specific areas are on the spectrum where cell phones occur, where radio stations are allowed to broadcast, and all of the different uses of the EMF spectrum are described on here. And this is available for everybody from whatever country they're in. There will be a document like this available. This is the summary document that you should have downloaded already. If you hadn't, you should go get it off of our website. It describes all of our training programs and includes a description of the cost of each of the programs in the back and how to apply for scholarships as well. Most of your questions should be answered by this document all by itself, but we'd encourage you to attend the webinar, which gives you a little bit more hands-on kind of detail than what you'll find in this document. Lastly, we offer a number of books. I mentioned the Bedroom Sanctuary book in the beginning. This is another book that we include in our curriculum. It's an EMF metering know-how book. It describes how to pick meters and how to use them. And this is critical for consultants who need to be able to know this information, so we provide this as a part of our coursework. One of the things you may be considering is that all of this information is available in books and on the web, and you might think it's possible for you to learn everything that you need to know to be a consultant by going through all that material. And that's probably true. You could learn how to be an EMF consultant by taking enough self-guided coursework to achieve the knowledge base that you need. Unfortunately, that might require you to actually attend the university and become an engineer and get into the detail of what it all means and how it all works and what's real and what isn't. A lot of that is described in major books that have been published about the subject of EMF, such as this. We have gone through these books, and we go through all the books that get published on EMF and read through them and pull out all the key pieces from those books that is necessary for training individuals to be certified EMF consultants. You can see we've documented the pages in here that we feel are most critical, and we do recommend a few books. This happens to be one of them, for our students to obtain for themselves and read through it. This happens to be what we consider to be a pretty good description of the perils of EMF in our world today, and we would recommend people read this. There are some things in here that require additional explanation, and our course does explain how the material in here can differ from what they are experiencing in their environment. So it's not a verbatim everything in the book is what you need to know. We have pulled all that specifics out of there to give you specifically, so you don't have to read the book to get the information that's important to you. This is another book that we recommend to our students. It's the Electromagnetic Fields. It's basically a compendium of the science of EMF in written form in a single book. It's quite thorough. I really enjoy offering our suggestions about what books to read regarding EMF, and in our course we provide you with a major bibliography of the best books we have found in the industry that are currently available, and recommend that you have them for your own library. Now that you've seen how this introduction works to the webinar, where we talk about the course in detail, you can download the information in our information packet online on our website on any one of the pages referencing our certification training program. In here you will find all the details about the courses that we offer, the syllabus for them, what they cost, and how you can sign up. It also includes information about how you can obtain a scholarship to attend our program at no charge. So download the information and look through it, and if you're ready to go, then sign up. And that information is on our website calendar that you can sign up immediately for any of the classes that are listed in the calendar. Thank you for attending today and listening to me talk about our webinar. And if you want to watch the actual webinar, you can do that on our event calendar as well. Have a nice day. We wish you the best of luck and look forward to seeing you in our next class.